Let's see. The next point on the list is a Newnan. Let's check the dimensions first. 1.5 to 5 inches. So overall length, is there an average? 63 to 77 millimeter. 63 to 77. So I got some pieces I might use. That's plenty big, plenty long enough. This is 70. This is 80 millimeter. I can make it out of this one. Alright. I got this biface from a friend of mine. Same with this one. In a box of goodies. Alright, so this one is a thin medium to large triangular contracting stem point with flattened to elliptical cross section. So it can be thin or thick. Alright. Pretty much the usual stuff. And pretty straightforward. I think I can finish this before the auction ends. While I'm waiting for the auction to end. Yeah, contracting stem. Some have long stems, apparently. Some have short little bitty stems. And they range. Let's see. What do they do? Push the wrong button. Alright, so here we go. Oh, we got it back. Okay, got it back. Yeah, sometimes the barbs are sharp, sometimes they're not. See that? Unless they're broken off or something. Sometimes the tips are not so pointy, and sometimes they're pretty pointy. Okay, how about heat treats? Let's see if it says anything about heat treats. It has a random flaking pattern. Let's see. I don't see anything having to do with heat treat, but I'm going to use a heat treat. Middle archaic. All right, so I'll use a heat treat. Regardless, this is aluminum 1/2 inch. Aluminum rod 1/2 inch by, I don't know, 12 inches or more. Somebody wants to know exactly. Let's see, how long is it? 12 inches. What'd I tell you? I didn't even know. I think I did know. I think I remember. I remember some things, and then some things I totally can't remember. Oh, this is Sweet Georgia Flint River heat treat. Yes, or something similar. So all I gotta do basically is thin it down to a triangular shape and put a stem on it. A rather easy stem. Rather easy peasy. Right? I shouldn't say that, but it is rather easy peasy. Good thing, because I don't have much time before the auction ends. I gotta watch what's going on. Alright, I gotta be careful. This heat treat might be a little delicate. Ooh, yeah, it might be. I might take too much off with these strikes. Yeah. Okay. Cool it with the strong, heavy strikes. So what do I talk about this time? I get some input on what you guys want to hear. Sometimes they tell me. Sometimes you guys tell me. A lot of you guys want to hear about history, archaeology, right? I'm trying to think here. I don't know anything about the archaeology of the Newnan point. I could just go to one of the forums that has a lot of information and just type it up and then read it during the video. You know, shoot a silent video and then read or regurgitate what it has in the online information. But there's already a guy that's doing that and he does it very well, so it'd be kind of redundant. I don't keep all this history in my head. No. At one time I was doing a lot of reading on this stuff. And I wasn't napping. Yeah, every time I read something, I'm not napping. Now, I've said before that I don't want to nap all the time. But I don't want to miss an opportunity because I still have things I need to be proficient at. I still need to get much better at thinning. Yeah. I can thin pretty much down to 6:1 ratio, but I want to get down to like half of that, 12:1. Eventually, be able to do it on some pieces. I don't think there's any special technique. I just think it's a lot of practice. Lots and lots of practice over and over and over. You know, do it maybe after 1,000 points. And back in the day, if you were doing that, you know, doing 1,000 points, let's say 1,000 points a year, that's like three points a day. I think after a year, you get pretty darn good at thinning, if that's what you're focused on. I think they may have had ceremonial guys that they would do nothing but napping, ceremonial pieces. I know that they did that amongst the Incas. So I assume that's a pretty common thing, as long as the society can support the nappers, so they don't have to be out hunting for food and whatnot. Because to make three points a day and have the material to do it, it's not just sitting there making it. You got to go out and get the material. And usually it's the napper getting the material, I would think, because he's the one that knows what's good and what's not. If he depends on other people to go get the material, they might bring back a bunch of stuff that's not that good. I mean, he can have people go with him, carry a bunch of stuff, carry more than he can carry by himself. But he's still got to go on these expeditions. So I don't see these ceremonial nappers doing much hunting or anything else. And those are the ones that can get these things extremely thin. The usual guys, the regular guys, just make the usual points. I'm thinking, there's probably many exceptions where all you do is nothing but hunting tasks. All hunting related. Yeah. All you do is projectile weapons and hunting. Projectile weapons and hunting. That's it. Nothing else. Then I think you can get good at it also. Do nothing but hunting and projectile point manufacturer. That's it. I can see getting thin. Really, really thin. But for hunting purposes, I don't see how thinness helps you very much, especially when you need strong, durable equipment. If you're constantly out in the field, especially if you're bumping up against underbrush, if you're camouflaged at all, or your quivers are not that great, they're just simple bags or simple basket type quivers, your arrows rattling around in there. Yeah, you can wrap the arrowheads in leather and that kind of thing, but what if you need them right away? You got to have at least one out with your bow, at least one, probably two, one in the hand with the bow and then one constantly strung while you're hunting, and the other one's wrapped in leather. Yep, I can see that. But what if you're in the underbrush with your little arrow sticking out and you dink, hit it against something and it breaks the tip off? If it's really delicate, that's what's going to happen. How do I know this? I don't know. Maybe I'm just clumsy. Maybe modern man is just clumsy. It didn't really... Clumsiness wasn't something that he encountered back in the day. Maybe. I don't know. But I think clumsiness was pretty common. And I don't think that really delicate points were taken out on the trail. That's my opinion. Does my opinion matter much, or do I think my opinion matters much, or do I put a lot of weight on my opinion? No. I put it out there to be scrutinized. And I know it will be scrutinized because a lot of people will say, you're just a rando napper. What do you know? That's good. I don't know that much. Be skeptical and participate in the discussion. Say that, no, those delicate looking points aren't that delicate. And yeah, you can go hunting with them and they're not that bad. You know, I've done it before. You can have delicate points and you can have them all in your quiver, not even wrapped with leather, la la la. You can contradict everything I say. It's not a problem. I don't put any weight on my opinions. You gotta test them out. Yeah. All I know is if I take hunting equipment out in the field, it better be rugged and tough, because I will bump into something within 10 minutes. Yeah. Especially when I'm walking around. Maybe it's ADHD. If I'm sitting there just in a blind all day with my equipment, yeah, I can have really delicate equipment if I'm just sitting there all day. Maybe that's what they did. Maybe. I wouldn't want to be sitting in a blind all day, but that's just me. I am a stalker. Do I have a lot of success in hunting? I have a lot of hunts under my belt? No, I don't. Not with bows and arrows. I got some hunting experience with firearms. That's what I prefer to hunt with. You give me a bow and arrow or a rifle, I will prefer the rifle every single time. Why? Well, it's humane, for one. and number 2. Easy. And the range, I can go out to 100 yards easy. Yeah. With a bow and arrow, you got to be up close. Under 40 yards, preferably under 20 yards. Now that might be something that supports the idea that you're in a blind or you're camouflaged behind something so that the deer are walking past you. You're not walking up to the deer because that'll spook them fast. So maybe they were sitting in blinds with these delicate points. This is not a delicate point, by the way. I'm just saying. I'm saying what I know about the history and the archaeology and my own experiences. I prefer to stalk. So that's the way I hunt. And I have sat there waiting for deer, and they do come around. You see all kinds of other stuff too, not just deer. You see skunks and rabbits and squirrels, and even an occasional dove will walk by. Yeah, they do walk on the ground. Seen silly little doves just walk on by. Not a care in the world. And yeah, you can shoot at all kinds of stuff as long as it's in season. I don't have any hunting stories. It's all pretty straightforward. You know, you wait until the sun comes up and you just blam, shoot something and go get it. That's it. Because they're out there where I go or where I went. There was plenty of game. If you don't shoot a deer, you can shoot a rabbit. There's plenty of stuff everywhere. At least where I went. So basically, it's just, if I'm in a blind, it's the struggle. Most of the struggle is trying to stay awake. I don't get like buck fever. My heart rate doesn't go up when I'm trying to take a shot. Or when I see a deer, I get excited. Yeah. If I see a good one. If I see a baby one or a doe or something, or one that I can't shoot, meh. I don't get all jittery, excited, and breathing heavy and sweating and all that. None of that. So yeah, basically it's trying to stay awake, shoot it, go out there, field dress it, bury those guts, drag it back, get back to the truck or whatever. Looky. Can put the tag on it. Let's drive home or drive to the processor, whichever one. Alrighty. I don't go by myself usually. I have taken deer home, and one time I butchered it in my bathtub. Yeah. Yes, I did. Cleaned out the bathtub, plopped the deer in there, and cut it all up. At that time, we had a really small kitchen. Couldn't do it on the kitchen counter. There's no way. There's no way I could have done it. And the sink was small too, so. So that's the extent of my hunting and my experiences. I never went anywhere exotic or anything like that. It was all pretty close by. There's plenty of deer in Texas everywhere. The most deer I've ever seen in one place while driving is in South Carolina. I should say one state. Driving through South Carolina, I've seen the most deer of anywhere I've ever been. So if you guys live there, if it's still like that, you guys are lucky. If you're deer hunters. I mean, they were everywhere. At least the route that I took. At night. It was late. All right, so after midnight. I like to drive during darkness because there's less traffic on the road. Anyway, I saw a ton of deer. Bunches. Every time I go through there at night. Anyway, the biggest deer I've ever seen personally were in Indiana. I saw some huge deer there, and they were right next to. I was working in Indianapolis. Once in a while, my job, I was surveying for telephone service, and you get outside the city just a little bit, outside of Indianapolis, and you can see deer. Huge. They're huge, gigantics. And they're just like almost tame. You know, they're in the suburbs. Probably eating a bunch of gardens. Getting fat on people's gardens. Yeah. They didn't have huge racks or anything on them, but they were like huge, gigantic bucks with these big fat necks and all, you know, strong. They're not like, they don't have little spindly legs like the ones in Texas. Whitetails, I'm talking about whitetail. Anyway, I wasn't hunting. I didn't go hunting in Indiana. I was just working there, and I saw the deer. If I ever choose a place to go hunting, I think that's where I would choose. But guys have sent me antlers from deer in Iowa, and those things are huge. So I would go to Iowa too, probably. If I was into that. I'm really not into hunting that much, although I do like it. It's listed, or I list it as one of my favorite things to do. Hunting, camping, and fishing. I put hunting first, I don't know why. Camping is my favorite. Nowadays, instead of hunting and fishing while camping, I look for materials. Yeah. Look for rocks and arrow shafts. Yeah. That's what I do these days. So I guess material gathering is replacing hunting and fishing. Because you can gather materials almost anywhere, as long as they allow it. A lot of parks don't allow you to take the materials out. But you can do tree identification. You can walk around and say, ooh, that's this plant. Ooh, that's that plant. Cool. Ooh, that's an edible mushroom. That I don't know what the heck it is. Let's look for some chaga. If I'm far enough north where there's birch trees, I'll look for chaga. Once in a while, I'll find some. I don't do anything with it. I'm afraid to drink that stuff. They say it can make a good tonic that has lots of medicinal benefits, right? I've never tried it because every time I try something mushroom, I think I get an allergic reaction because my tongue gets all rough and I feel all fatigued and in a bad mood. Yeah, I know. Weird. Whenever that happens, that means it's some kind of allergy. That's what I think. I don't do good on mushrooms. Or with mushrooms. On mushrooms seems like I'm talking about psychedelics. No. Never done that. I can eat the regular mushrooms from the grocery store. But as far as gathering wild mushrooms and all that kind of stuff, gathering wild herbs and plants and roots and all that stuff to eat, nope. I don't. I do not partake. Although it probably does not interfere with my diet. You know, the only meat diet. Once in a while I'll have some greens. It's not only meat. Sometimes I'll have greens. And I have tried wild greens. Some of them are actually pretty good. Especially with butter. Oh, yes. So, yeah, that's all I do now is just look around for materials while I'm camping. And if I can't gather any, at least I know what they look like. I'll go, that's that kind of wood, that's that kind of arrow shaft material. That's actually called arrowwood. Yeah. I'll look around and I'll find what the locals call arrowwood. There's arrowwood everywhere, right? Locals have named local plants. Locals, I should say. Back in the day, the indigenous population would call a certain plant arrowwood. So what I try to do is I try to figure out what that was. What kind of plant they're talking about. Yeah. So that's what I do. That's my hunting story. I hunt for materials now. I got a stash. I got a bunch of arrow shafts, natural arrow shafts, just sitting there waiting to be processed into arrows that I never get around to making. We shall see. I still gather them. It keeps building. My supply of natural arrow shafts keeps building and building. Makes me feel all giggly when I look at them. I got bundles. And then if anyone says, hey, I'll save a bundle of blah, blah, blah for you. Yeah, man. Okay. Awesome. When I see you, I'll give them to you. Okay, cool, man. Yeah. Can't resist. I got bundles from lots of people. Yeah, I like sticks. And then now I got a bunch of rocks too from everybody. It's a wonderful life. When it's simple. Keep it simple. Rocks and sticks, how much more simple can it get? Yeah. Funny thing is, that's what I did as a kid also. Luckily, growing up, we lived near the woods. So I'd go out there and gather rocks and sticks. when I was little. One of the worst days of my life was when the local bullies came around and took all my rocks. That was one of the worst days of my life up to that point. I was so angry. Yeah, they punched me in the gut and they took all my rocks. At that time, it was a bunch of slate that I was grinding into arrowheads. They wanted to do that too, but they were not going to ask me. They go, "What you doing there, boogerhead?" "I'm trying to make some arrowheads." Is that what you're making out of?" "Yeah." Punch, grab, run. "Thank you very much for the material." Oh, that made me mad. They didn't do it again because they couldn't make good arrowheads. I saw what they did. They just knocked off a bunch of flakes from the slate and they taped the arrowheads onto some arrow shafts with electrical tape, that black electrical tape. And I'm laughing to myself going, okay, I don't feel so bad now. They're just looking for something to do, something to get them into trouble. I think they were shooting those arrows at the neighborhood pets and stuff. Or stray dogs or whatever. Alright, so we got most of this stuff. Let's see. What do we got here? I gotta look at the cheat notes. Alright, so this one is too straight down, right? Yeah, I gotta contract that stem a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah. Do I want one that looks like that one? Those lights drive me crazy. Alright. Like that? Do I want that one? Or do I want this one? Or this one? See how these notches go in a little ways, but these don't. Should I make the one that's harder to make with the notches that go inward? I should make the one that's harder to make. Why? Because you said so, right? You guys said so? I heard somebody back there. Yeah, do the one with the difficult notches. They're not that difficult, by the way. You can just do them all with pressure, like I just did. I just crunch them in with pressure. Yeah, I know. Some of you guys are saying, it's not that easy, especially with heat treat. I never get it like that. I never pressure flake it like that. Mine always snaps and breaks and step fractures and yada yada. I know. I've been there and done that. You just got to make 1,000 points. That's all there is to it. Easy peasy. Have you made 1,000 points yet? No? 3 points a day. That's all it takes. All it takes is 1 year. 3 points a day. You didn't think it was that easy, huh? Some people will say, oh, I've made 3 points a day for many, many years and I'm still like making almonds. I don't know. I'm guessing. Maybe somebody's like that. That's probably kind of rare, right? But who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I'm thinking if someone's like that out there, I'm thinking, dude, you've got some persistence there. If I couldn't do it after that long and that many points, I would have quit a long time ago and just switched to bone arrowheads like I almost did in the beginning. Besides, I like working with bone. It smells kind of funny, and everyone says, "What's that smell?" when they go by and they're seeing you make something real cool. They go, "That's real cool, but what's that smell?" Oh, that's just burned bone. Yeah, it kind of burns a little bit when you get it on the sander. And they might say, "Well, aren't you supposed to use like rocks to shape those like they used to back in the day?" I say, "Yeah, I'm supposed to, but since when do I do what I'm supposed to? Since when?" And they go, "Ah, yeah, okay." Smarty pants. Now, are these sides straight? I think I messed up. These sides are supposed to be convex. I made them straight. Ouchie. That's not good. Oh, let's see. What am I going to do? Well, let's see. First, let me thin it down a little bit more, and then I'll think about the overall shape. How's that? It's translucent, right? Yeah. This Georgia chert is just beautiful. Yep. No other word to describe it. All right. Here we go. Let's see if we can thin this down just a little bit more without messing everything up. And if I mess it up, it's a controlled mess. Yeah. That's all there is to it. That mess is a controlled mess. Because you can change something that looks like it's full of mistakes to something that looks controlled. Yeah. Just by saying that. Say the magic words. It's controlled, and there it turns from looking like a bunch of mistakes to something that resembles a technological marvel. Yeah, like on Modern Marvels, that TV show. Just by saying it's controlled. Yep. You didn't know that? Learned something new, huh? All right, we're getting thinner. Although I'm not getting convex edges. Quite the contrary. Yeah, so what am I going to do? Did I just mess everything up? We shall see. See if I can recover. Or I'll leave the side straight. How's that? You might say, but if I leave the side straight, it looks like some weird Texas point. Like a lane tree. It's not a Newnan. Could have make that tip less pointy. Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to lose some off the tip. But as long as we're shorter than 67, right? Ooh, that's like 71. We're super close. But if I take it down to 67, I think I can get some convexity. Yeah. Why do I talk like that? Because I need to keep myself entertained. That's why. It's for my entertainment, and hopefully you guys can be entertained as well. Because if you're not, I don't care. I kind of do care in a way, because this has become my part-time job. Yeah, I do it every day. It's like my job now. And people really, really appreciate it, and they're really nice to me when I make videos every day. It's amazing how people get nice when they see a video every day, they wake up to morning coffee to little Flintknapping clicks. And they like it. And they appreciate it. And everyone's so happy. So how can I resist? I don't know. It's hard to resist. What do I wake up to? Do I wake up and turn the YouTubes on to Flintknapping and sip coffee to clicking of stone? No, I don't. So what do I do? What do I watch? I watch all kinds of stuff. Yeah. What was I watching lately? Oh, I was watching one of the channels that you guys watch. Throw sticks, right? Throwsticks.com. Something like that. I was watching a lot of his videos today. Or yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah. He's a funny dude, man. Mr. Throwsticks. I don't know. I forget his name. But he's got merch. He's got all kinds of stuff. I was like, dang, this guy. I think when I grow up, I want to be Throwsticks. When I grow up. He's got the system down, man. He's got these boomerang things that are made out of polymer. He can hit a watermelon at 40 yards with these boomerang things that don't look like boomerangs. They look like war clubs. You guys know what I'm talking about because I got the idea from you guys. You guys watch this stuff. I didn't watch that stuff until yesterday. Polymer boomerangs and war clubs. Who would have thunk it? Yeah, he shapes them. High-tech materials. They're indestructible. He was shooting them at rocks. And the rocks were actually... the pieces were coming off of rocks. He was damaging the rocks with his polymer throw sticks. So I explore, I look around and see what other people are doing. I don't have a regular routine as far as what I watch. I watch a lot of World War II stuff and firearms stuff, yeah. Lately I've been watching stuff on revolvers. I didn't know the Russians had come up with a revolver that had a sealed gas system. So that means when you pull the trigger, it makes the cylinder move forward a little bit, and the casings that the rounds are in, they extend past the ball or the munition, so that they'll seal into the barrel. So as you pull the trigger, the cylinder moves forward, and the casing of the shell seats into the barrel. So when you fire it, there's no gas that escapes out the sides. And this thing was invented back in 1895. I'm thinking, what? Why aren't revolvers made like that now? Why aren't they all made like that? That would seem like it would make a whole lot of sense. You don't get no side blast from that type of revolver. Well, come to find out, I watch a lot of reviews on that particular revolver, and the thing that people don't like is the fact that the trigger pull is really horrible because it has to move the cylinder. Yeah, you get the trigger pull is terrible. It has various stages to it, so your aim gets thrown off, and people don't like that. I guess they want to shoot a lemon at 100 yards with their revolvers. Yeah. I guess that's why they want to do it. That's why they don't like the trigger pull. So if I had money, I think what I would probably do is invest in some of these old firearms. Because they're cool. Yep. And you thought I was just into bows and arrows, and spears and ladle darts, and war clubs and poisoned darts and stuff. Yeah, that's what you thought. You're doing too much thinking. Now you know. I have other interests. I got like tons of other interests. Why do I spend my whole time napping? Because for some reason I can flint knap under almost any circumstances. And I can feel like I'm doing something. I can feel productive. Alright, so I think I'm getting close to the end of the auction. I can't be spending too much time doing this. I don't know how these edges are on the Newnans. I'm assuming that they're persnickety about the edges because they were well made. So I'll be persnickety on the edge here. See these little deltas and uneven areas? I don't think any of these were serrated, right? At least not from the pictures. None of this stuff is serrated. But I'm sure there was an exception. One of the nappers back in the day got all fancy and put in what looked like that might have been serrations. But I don't focus on the 1% of the 1%. I don't think. I hope I don't. Maybe I do sometimes. With the long points and the big knives. But most of the time, I can't see. Most of the time I try to do the regular ones. Alright, so that's good enough. Good enough for Newnan, right? What's the size? Is it 67? It's 67. Right on the money. Alright. So if I haven't responded to you during the auction, like if I hadn't put the like on your bid, it's because I was working on a Newnan. Yeah, I was working on a request. So there you go. That was actually good. I mean, I enjoyed that. Were they ground? Probably not, but I like to grind it anyway, just to get it to where there's no little delicate areas down there. Thin, kind of, sort of, a little bit translucent, and very nice material. Alrighty.